Jump right into this explainer. If you're one of the millions dealing with stubborn, chronic low back pain, you know exactly how frustrating it gets when the usual ibuprofen or heat packs just stop cutting it. So today, we're unpacking the hard data to figure out if an electrical device, a TENS unit, might actually be the missing piece in your pain management puzzle. Are they really a viable alternative to traditional meds? Let's find out. We're taking a quick, informed buyer's journey today. We'll cover understanding TENS units, the actual science of whether they work, weigh the pros and cons, talk about who should absolutely avoid them, and wrap up with some practical tips for getting the best results. All right, Section 1, Understanding TENS units, what they are and how they work. Let's strip away the medical jargon for a second and just look at the hardware. Basically, a TENS unit is like a high-tech distraction for your nervous system. You stick these little electrode pads on your skin, and the device sends out small electrical impulses. It relies on something called the gate control theory of pain. Think about it like this. When you bang your elbow, your first instinct is to rub it, right? That's because your brain can only process so much information at a given time. So that immediate sensation of touch physically overrides or literally closes the gate on those slower pain signals trying to travel up your spinal cord. A TENS unit does exactly that, just with a steady electrical hum. Plus, it essentially tricks your body into releasing its own built-in natural painkillers, like endorphins. Pretty cool, right? Now you've got two main frequency settings to know about. High-frequency TENS gives you this gentle, continuous buzzing feeling. It targets your sensory nerve fibers to block pain signals right at the gate before they even get to your brain. Low-frequency TENS, though, is a totally different ballgame. It uses slower, way stronger pulses that physically make your muscles twitch and contract. That deeper mechanical action is what triggers a massive endorphin release deeper in your central nervous system. And that relief, it often sticks around long after you've turned the machine off. They literally interact with completely different opioid receptors in your brain, which is a super important detail we're going to come back to later. Moving on to Section 2, the science. Does it work? We know the theory sounds amazing, but what do the recent clinical trials actually say when we put this hardware under the microscope? Okay, look at this massive number, 0.97. That represents the effect size for pain relief when a TENS unit is cranked up to an adequate, strong intensity. To give you some context here, a massive 2025 systematic review in the European Journal of Pain analyzed 29 different studies. They discovered that when the device was set too low, the effect size was a measly 0.30, barely noticeable. But when they bumped it up to a strong, clearly perceptible level, boom, the relief skyrocketed to 0.97. That huge jump is literally the difference between feeling absolutely nothing and getting your life back for an entire afternoon. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is intensity matters. If you're running your device on some super light, barely there setting just because you're a little wary of the electric current, you are totally missing out on the benefits. Honestly, underdosing is a massive reason why clinical trials gave us such mixed results for years. You really have to turn it up. It should feel strong, highly noticeable, maybe even right on the edge of your tolerance. But obviously, it should never cross the line into being sharp or painful. But here's where it gets nuanced. When you compare acute back pain to chronic back pain, the data tells two different stories. For acute pain, like if you just threw your back out moving a couch, a recent study showed a whopping 68% of patients got clinically meaningful relief. That's fantastic. However, for chronic, long-term back pain, it's a lot trickier. A 2024 review actually found 21 different clinical guidelines recommending against using TENS as a standalone primary treatment for chronic issues. It can absolutely be a tool in your toolkit, but it's definitely not a magic bullet on its own. And this number, 4 days, explains a huge reason why that is. 4 days is incredibly fast, but that's exactly how quickly your central nervous system builds a tolerance to these electrical signals if you just use the exact same settings continuously. Your body's opioid receptors literally adapt and downregulate. So if you're just flipping it on every single day without a solid strategy, it's basically going to stop working. All right, let's hit Section 3, weighing pros and cons. Looking at the benefits, drawbacks, and real user experiences. When we lay it all out, the reality of this device becomes pretty clear. On the plus side, TENS is drug-free, completely non-addictive, super affordable, and totally portable. You can literally wear it under your shirt at work. And it is fantastic for muscular pain. But on the flip side, we have to be real. The relief is often very temporary. Plus, there's that tolerance buildup we just talked about. And crucially, it really struggles to put a dent in deep structural issues, like a herniated disc pressing on a nerve. And you know what? Real user reviews totally back this up. One person said, "It feels amazing, but only works while it's on. It didn't give me any relief at all once I turned it off." That perfectly grounds the clinical data in reality. While the device is buzzing, you might feel like $1,000,000 and can move around freely. But the second that timer clicks off, the pain often comes creeping right back in. It's a management tool, folks, not a cure. Here's another review that hits the nail on the head. "His pain and issues are 100% muscular. I have a torn, herniated disc and pinched nerves, and it does nothing for me." This is exactly why getting a proper diagnosis is so important. TENS is a rock star for muscular back pain, spasms, gym injuries, massive tension. But for severe nerve damage or structural spine stuff, it usually falls completely flat. You absolutely need to know the source of your pain before you expect a little buzzing box to fix it. Which brings us to section 4, who should avoid TENS. We've got to cover some important safety warnings and contraindications here. While electrical stimulation is generally super safe, it is absolutely not for everyone. If you have any implanted electronic devices, we're talking cardiac pacemakers, implanted defibrillators, or spinal cord stimulators, you cannot use a TENS unit without consulting your doctor first. The risk of electrical interference is just too high. The same strict warning goes for pregnant women, especially concerning pad placement on the abdomen or lower back, as well as anyone with a history of epilepsy. Safety first, always. If you check any of these boxes, talk to your doctor. And finally, Section 5, Tips for Best Results. Let's cover how to maximize your relief and avoid that pesky tolerance. For those who are safe to use it and have that muscular back pain, here is the playbook. Remember that 4-day tolerance window? You combat that by doing 4 things. Step 1, maximize your intensity to a strong, highly perceptible level. Step 2, use it intermittently, take some rest days. Step 3, constantly rotate those frequencies between high and low. And step 4, pair it with physical therapy. Doing this actually triggers those pain-relieving neural pathways without letting your body get lazy and adapt. Also, a quick note, device quality really matters here. Picking up the cheapest, most basic model at the drugstore might just irritate your skin and fail to deliver the right electrical parameters. You want to invest in a solid home unit that lets you fully adjust the frequency and intensity and has nice, large electrode pads to really cover the wide surface area of your lower back. Ultimately, a TENS unit is an incredible tool, but again, it's not a cure. It's brilliant for taking the edge off so you can actually get off the couch and move. But relying on it while staying completely sedentary, that's not going to give you lasting results. So I want to leave you with this. How might a TENS unit fit into your broader pain management plan? What active habits, whether that's core strengthening, daily stretching, or physical therapy, are you going to pair it with to finally achieve that lasting relief?